Hey everyone, in today's video we are featuring a replay submitted by FireBombardment and he's playing Object 263 in Malvinovka. So let's talk about the tank first. It is, I would say, above average. It's a decent tank, but it's not really broken. I say it because it did get some buffs recently where they increased the yaw limit, they increased some HP, always had a decent reload because the base DPM is around 3000. And it does have a decent armor as well. The tank also known as YOLO wagon because you have the speed to kind of charge opponents, and if they're not aiming right, they will bounce off your upper plate, as well as even your cheeks are strong unless it's a tank destroyer shooting premium at you. It does have a weak spot around the gun. Also can definitely get sunfire very easily because it has an open compartment, so there's no armor up top, as well as it is fixed turret, right? The arc is on, it's decent. Any arc that is plus minus 10 is playable, and this tank does have 12 now. But you always have to worry about the fast tank sites. They get around you, that's basically a GG for you. This side doesn't have any armor, it's not going to bounce anything. All your armor is at the front. But the drawbacks of this tank is, even though it's a tier 10 tank destroyer, it does not have the tier 10 TD pen like Sturb or Badger. The standard pen or premium pen is 330, as well as it's a fixed turret TD with 560. Nonetheless, it is a fun tank to play, and Object 263, and you'll see this in replay. So FireBombardment, he went to the H4 position, a very good position to start with. He's using the bushes, he does have light tank. But these enemy teams are not playing very safe, kind of exposing to himself, and he's just farming so far, already at 2k damage. There is no artillery in the game, which is a plus for this tank. Otherwise, artillery can just go through this tank like a knife going through butter. So it's always nice when artillery is not in a game, because you can have those high damage games, as artillery is not there to ruin. So Jetta was retreating, took a shot from 263 as well. Now he sees ISU 152. This is a very decent position. As you can see, he has so many shots. I like to play the G6 area, but this position, because his team pushed the 1-2 line, it's better to play over here, as their team has the hill, and if he would have been playing at F6 where the TD is playing, he would be getting farmed, whereas he does not have that issue over on this side, as he hasn't been spotted so far and is basically farming. He's not even using the bush anymore, because both the light tanks on the enemy team just went to the hill, not doing their job. And these heavy tanks, or the mediums playing on the A1, A2, or 1-2 line, are just donating HP to 263. Always nice to get some easy damage. As you can see, he's already at 5300 damage. It does have ended up with a decent game, but we'll see if that would be enough. For the 560 alpha, the DPM is really good, especially another 560 alpha tank is Panther 7, and you can see that tank has one of the worst DPMs. That tank's reload is worse than E100s with the 750 alpha. So if any other tank has this gun, this is the gun in itself is kind of beautiful, but if imagine a heavy tank having this gun, it would be very, very strong with the same stats. It's like the baby waffles gun. So Sheridan on his team gets pushed by Burask and dies, and now he does have one light tank left. Most of his team is on the left. Burask is pushing into the middle, and he managed to pen Burask once, who's down to 400 damage. Game is still close, 11 versus 11, and that's what you like to see, right? Where the game lasts longer than 10 minutes. Their team is now winning by one tank. Leopard PTA just kind of running around in the open, a little bit too confident, got penned by 263 as well as another medium. And even though his team did great in the beginning, now they're making the mistake of pushing their cap. So there is a way to push the cap, but if they have someone at C1, it's very difficult, because the guy at C1 will spot anyone that's pushing, and his team does have support over on the C5, A5 area. However, they lost the guy at C1 is dead, and so is the guy in the middle. But because those are heavy tanks, it is still a risky to push over 1-2 line. I've seen our team, you know, go 1-2, kill 1 or 2 guys, and whenever they push in the open, they just die because, as you said, you can either push down the E line, get under them, and spot the guys at C5, C4, and once those are dead, then you can kind of worry about the B1, because if you push the B1, depending on how much support that team has, you can get farmed, but usually when the enemy team pushes that side, my team doesn't pen any of their shots or don't have anyone at C1 to begin with, so it always works for enemy team, but whenever our team is playing, it doesn't really work for me. And we'll see if his team get lucky, as usually whenever they're crossing, they want to just go sit on the cap. Cap is kind of in the open and you basically get farmed. If you do that, we do see one heavy tank. Bombardment is now rotating. 257 who's on the cap is dead, considering the cap is in the open. That is what I don't understand, right? Like, you should just push C or D, go to kind of C4, C5, you can spot. But not only do you drive in the open first, the way 257 took, he ended up dying as well. The score is now even. He's playing in the middle, so he can support either side. Put a good shot into Panzer Wagon. It is kind of stalemate at this point, and as you can see, even the rotation of this tank is quick. The track traverse. The tank is mobile, decent speed as well, decent power to it. It's just it doesn't have the pen. It does have premium APCR, so that kind of helps. But as I said, the alpha is a bit lacking, and that on a fixed turreted case mount TD, it can work, as you can see, but sometimes it's a disadvantage as well. There are obviously other TDs that are just better. And as we saw, another tank from his team, Tiger 2, pushed towards the cap and died. His team is now losing by 1. Not a big deficit, because this is the scenario you want to be in, because whenever your team is losing by 1 tank or 2 tanks, and then enemy team gets confident, they push and you just farm them. So he decided to move to towards the 8 line, as his team is abandoning the 1-2 after a miserable push that failed. And Emil killed the Tehran. He managed to put a shot on the Tehran and is almost at 8k damage. Leopard prototype is pushing in the open. Put a shot into him. He's gone as well. Scores now even 5v5. But considering how his team just fell back, I wouldn't have much faith in the team though. But we'll see. Now they're more into defending position after realizing that they can't really push, that the enemy team do have a light tank, so you have to be careful not to. You will always get outspotted, right? And they have decent amount of TDs. Still 3 TDs still alive, and E4 finishes the Huntsman. 4v5. He's close to 10k, and this is the moment where you kind of realize I might be able to hit 10k. Since he's full health, he hasn't taken any damage. He was spotted, I think, once, but for the most part, he was just farming. And if he uses the bushes correctly, he will definitely outspot anyone who's trying to push. But as they get closer and closer, since the team does not have a light tank, he will not get those free peak shots where he's not getting spotted, because at this point, whenever he tries to, if he spotted someone himself, he will end up getting spotted in return as well. So there's the light tank. It was close. Yeah, he spots him. However, KB4 over on the rock bounces. And considering where the K5 TD is, as well as the Shashka, they won't be spawning anyone. He's now giving up on the 9-0 line and going back to the frozen lake. This is a good spot, because you can kind of use the bushes to shoot and then just retreat back to the lake. And also when they're coming, you're kind of safe because you have the lower ground and they're kind of driving in the open. IS-3 goes down, E4 takes out another tank. Now they're losing by 2. One of the tanks in his team is Shashka, the other one is Death Star. All TDs, and T49 is slowly spotting everyone in his team that are being picked apart by the tank destroyers. 5 minutes remaining. He's still at 8,000, full health though. So their team needs to kill some tanks. He needs to do them damage, because if both the other tank destroyers die as well, then He'll get surrounded and die as well. There is a potential for 10k though. Full health Yag gets spotted for the first time. He do end up penning the Yag. And E4 has also pushed forward. Bounced on 263. He loses spot peaks again. Looks like Yag took a shot from Death Star. And his one shot. Get unspotted. However, 263. Yeah, he didn't move much and he took his time to aim at Yag and ended up penning him. But since this was the second time he peeked, he got spotted. T49 penned him as well as the E4. They were pre-aimed. He's at 9k damage. 3 tanks remaining. You know, at this point, this is the point where you're like, okay, 2 more shots. That's all he needs for his 10k. E4 gets spotted. Bombardment was spotting the E4 and Shashka put a shot into him. The last TD spotted as well. KV4 over peaking, got spotted. And a quick snapshot by Fire, bringing the score to 3 versus 3. However, E4 finished Death Star, and now it's 2 versus 3. A bounce on the side of E4. E4 obviously the best heavy, the most armored tank. You will struggle to pen E4 frontally, but E4 will not bounce a single shot. Light tank try to pen, but bounce off the upper plate. He has 1480 blocked, couple shots from Light and then 1 from E4. E4 is pushing as well. Light tank spotted SU, who was taken out by Grill. Put a shot into E4 and now at 9800 damage. All he needs is 1 pen and he will hit the 10k mark. However, he's now surrounded with from 3 different angles. E4 turret, he's going for the hatch. Bounce, not an easy pen these days. After the buff did, he did get lucky that he penned the first time. Grill is now coming in. Grill bounced, rammed, and Ram kind of failed as well, as he was able to finish him. He's getting shot from 2 different angles. 3500 block, not very good aiming from the enemy team. Penned a shot into T49. Both T49 and E4 are one shot, but so is 263. They have 2 different angles, so Light Tank is doing a very good job. He's just holding an angle, letting the E4 close in. And as you said, the side doesn't have armor. Light puts another shot, and now he's definitely a one shot with 4 HP. E4 is pushing it. He misses, and 260 take him out, but T49 did not. Took his time, aimed well. He bounced a lot of shots, but didn't miss the last one. Nonetheless, a great game. 11k damage and almost clutched it, but there's so much you can do. Not to mention Redley Walters as well. So that's it for today's game. Thanks for submitting your replay, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.